You throw over $1,000 a month into local wishing wells.
Of course, you idiot, because I'm wishing for more money.
This is the Keeping Your Money Show with Jamie Westenberger and Bart Steindler.
All right, welcome back to Keep Your Money Show. Jamie Westenberger joined, as always, by Bart Steindler. If you're just tuning in, we talked about Stan Lee and how bad his estate planning was messed up and what we can learn from that. We also discussed new changes to your paycheck coming in 2020, so get excited. A very large form you will now have to fill out to decide what you want deducted from your paycheck. The best part was, I looked more into that too, by the way, Bart.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a choice to fill out that form.
Oh, no.
You know, like now they've got like the little worksheet on the back of the W-4, and you can just ignore it and go down to the bottom and write 2 if you want to. Well, this is going to be a required form that you will not be able to skip over it. So even if your CPA has already said to you, Bart, you want to have 2 deductions on your paycheck, it will not matter. You still have to do this worksheet. And if the IRS thinks you should have 3, then you will have 3. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Said no one. Oy. Well, I want to remind you, if you ever miss any part of the show, you can always find it on our website. Go to keepingyourmoney.com. You can also find it on any of our podcast partners, including Spotify now. Just go and search for the Keeping Your Money Show. Email is info, I-N-F-O, at keepingyourmoney.com. Do respond to all those emails personally. And you can also, of course, call us anytime. 888-98-MONEY is the number. 888-986-6639. So toll roads, according to Barron's, could be the way to fix state pension crisis. You know, at first when I saw the title, I have to be honest with you, I thought Barron's was advocating to make more toll roads, and I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Like, that's the last thing we need.
I always thought the toll roads were so that they had money to fix the roads.
That's what
and
I
to
thought.
maintain the roads.
I didn't realize toll roads were a profit center. I thought the whole idea was to charge a toll so that it was a really nice road to drive on.
Yeah.
I had no idea they were making hundreds of millions of dollars a year off toll roads, but what do I know?
Yeah.
So the idea behind this is that if more pension systems invested their money in toll road companies, the yield could be attractive, is kind of what they're saying in this article. But, you know, the problem with this idea is they use the example of a company up in Canada, which, first of all, as we were talking about before we went on the air, there's a lot of controversy on that up in Canada on whether that was done as maybe a favor to some of Trudeau's buddies more than it was to the Ontario pension system. But one of the things that's different in how we do pensions and how other parts of the world do it is, you know, corporations as a whole and municipalities as well kind of use their own math to come up with what is necessary to have in their pension fund. And if you didn't know that, like if you belong to a pension fund and you're planning on getting a pension, I encourage you, get your annual report, see what's really in there, see what they're using as their estimated return. Because you'd be shocked. I mean, we've talked about it before. California, for the longest time, was using 8% as their conservative return. I mean, it's absurd.
Yeah, and the other thing, if you're in a pension plan, a lot of them skip their payments, and they're fine with that. And if they're having if the company's having a bad year, or the municipality's having a bad year or something, and they're not making the annual payments to the pension, and they say, well, we'll catch it up next year. Well, that never happens.
Nope.
It's kind of like the the person that keeps spending more than they're making and saying, well, I'm going to make more later this year to make it up. Usually it doesn't happen.
Well, you know what's funny is, a couple of years ago, the post office took a lot of flack because they had lost so much money. Mm-hmm. And everyone was saying, how can the post office lose money? And the management of the post office came back and said, well, it's because we were forced to fund our pension for our employees. And I mean, in their actual statement, it was like, we are literally the only entity in the entire country that is being forced to do this. So the good news is post office pension, pretty solid.
Right.
Bad news is they really couldn't afford it. And that's why they lost $500 million every year for like 3 years. But but kind of a microcosm of what we're talking about across the country when they're the only one being forced to do that. You know, I mean, here we sit, we're 10 years plus, you know, I mean, actually last month, 10 years ago, we would have hit the bottom, right? And started to rebound. So we are 10 full years into a market that has just gone crazy. And some of these pension funds are still billions in the red. That's not a good sign, because if we start seeing corrections in the overall stock market, which are bound to happen someday, there'll be more red. You know, I don't know what they're thinking. So the article here says, look, if you can get a 3.5% yield on something that's a pretty constant, that would be good for pension funds. The problem is most of these pension funds need a heck of a lot more than a 3.5% yield because they're so far below the water of where they should be. They probably need that 7 to 8% return they're hoping to get.
Yeah, and there's actually a lot of, you know, investments where they could put their pension funds where, you know, 3.5% is quite attainable. Mm-hmm. So why go off into toll roads? And also, why would the money generated from toll roads not be dedicated for maintaining roads in any state or city or municipality that they're in?
Well, and there's the question too, right? If the city or the state or the country or whoever, even if it's a private company, if they own a toll road that's making $400 million a year, maybe we should lower the cost of the toll. You know, I mean, if the New Jersey Turnpike is creating $400 million of profit for New Jersey, maybe they're charging me way too much to drive on this stupid road.
Yeah. Or there's any number of things that could be put to that the citizens in New Jersey are paying for right now.
Well, and there is a perfect example of what is wrong with the idea of taxing our way out of a problem, right?
Right.
New York is looking at a $15 billion annual tax on congestion. I don't even know what that means. I mean, I know what congestion is, but I don't know how they can tax 15 billions of that, but whatever.
So when people get a cold and they get congested, they get taxed? No?
It's traffic congestion.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've been to Manhattan a number of times. I'm not sure how you can control traffic congestion in that city.
Pretty much have to have a tax collector going up and down the street,
Basically.
telling everybody to open your wallet and give me some money.
But you know, I mean, even you look at Michigan. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. Like, we're going to raise this tax, but we're only going to do it for a period of time until we fix this problem, right?
Right.
Oh, like toll roads are supposed to pay for the road?
Yes.
And yet this one creates $400 million of profit. So at some point in time, that toll road should have been lowered in cost. But you know what? It was funneling into the general fund, and we really like that money coming in. And that's why whenever, you know, a politician says it's a temporary tax, there's no such thing as a temporary tax. Once it gets agreed to, you're just going to get taxed that.
Yeah, and also a lot of times when they're presenting a new tax to you, they're presenting a tax on something that really means something to you, but all the money from that tax doesn't go.
Sure.
Like they're saying we're going to fix the roads, so we're going to raise the gas tax to fix the roads. But in reality, they're siphoning some money out of that into other things.
How about the lottery goes to education?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. It just simply replaces the money that would have come out of the education budget.
Yeah.
It doesn't add more money to the education budget. There isn't like hundreds of more millions of dollars going into the education department because you bought a Powerball ticket.
Because if that were the case, then all the teacher pensions would not be underfunded, and all of the schools, a lot of the schools would not be in disrepair, and everybody would be a lot happier with the results we're getting.
Yeah. You know, I have a problem when taxing us on new things is the way to create solutions to the things that have been screwed up in the past. I mean, I don't know if you saw the guy out in Colorado, the congressman, I believe it was. He wants to tax unrealized capital gains. I mean, I don't even know how you would do that. I mean, like the concept of that just blows my mind.
Yeah, that'd be nice. And for those who
would you pay those monthly?
Who don't really understand that? Let's say you bought an investment and it cost you $20, and so at the end of the year it was up to $40. So you would pay tax on that gain, even though you didn't sell the investment. You're keeping it for a longer
Right.
period of time
Whereas now you only pay taxes when you actually sell the investment.
and realize the gain.
Right.
Because any unrealized gain that you have, could actually disappear.
Right.
So it doesn't mean you've actually made the money, because the next year that could go back down to 20, and then you've paid taxes on a gain that you never realized.
And I think all of this kind of steers back to when you're planning your income in retirement, taxes have to be a huge part of that conversation. I see so many people come in and they'll say things like, well, it's worth me converting to Roths, even though I have to pay a ton of taxes now because they'll be tax free. Well, they're tax free now. That doesn't mean they will be. I hope they will be, but I wouldn't build your entire strategy around that. The government needs money, and they're going to keep needing money. And we just have to be careful that we don't get ourselves in jams when we're in retirement where, 50% of our income, which could be limited or impugned because of inflation, and now we have to pay all these taxes as well. It's just tax planning has to be part of your retirement planning. You have to be looking at both of those things.
Yeah, and I think you have to be looking at trying to put away more than what you think you need to, because it's with the kind of deficits that our governments are running, and the kind of conversations that they're having about wanting to fund more things for more people. The only way that happens is if they take a larger percentage of what we make, and if they take a larger percentage of what we make, we're going to need more money to live on.
Yep, absolutely. All right, just a reminder, you can always give us a call, 888-98-MONEY. That's 888-986-6639. Maybe all this talk about taxes made you realize you need to do a little bit better when it comes to planning. We've got the CPA here in the office. We've got a state planning attorney here in the office. We've got all of our wonderful financial advisors. We'd love to sit down and give you a free consultation and see how we can help you out. All right, coming up, we're going to do a new segment. We're going to be throwing penalty flags right here on the Keeping Your Money Show.
It's never too late to plan for your future, and the Keeping Your Money Show can help. Our team of advisors can answer questions you may have about investing your money. Through Securities America, Inc., our advisors offer a diversified and comprehensive list of quality products and services. Call the Keeping Your Money Show at 1-888-98-MONEY or visit keepingyourmoney.com to schedule your free consultation.